My name is Representative Beth Fukumoto Chang. I'm the House Minority Leader here. Today we just want to talk a little bit about our caucus package, but first I wanted to just introduce my fellow members. On my right here is Representative Andrea Tupola. She is our Minority Floor Leader. We also have Representative Jean Ward, who is our Minority Leader Emeritus. And then on my left here is Representative Lauren Cheat Matsumoto, who is our Minority Whip. Representative Cynthia Thielen, who is our Assistant Minority Floor Leader, and Representative Feki Puoha, who is another Minority Whip. Okay? So today we just want to talk a little bit about our caucus package and the different goals that we're going to have, which include creating jobs, lowering the cost of living, and giving government back to Hawaii's people. So each of the members here are just going to take a second to talk a little bit about the individual initiatives that we're working on. Okay? Representative Ward.
Thank you, Beth. I have the honor of speaking about job creation and renewable energy, the two most important things in my book that's in the package, but you'll hear from my colleagues earlier or later about this. Our Bill 421 addresses the renewable energy need for batteries in the solar on the roof process. If all of you know that the solar energy now is only 3% of what is in our electrical system, we want to boost that up, and we want to be able to have storage. And right now, the cost of energy in Hawaii, electricity, is 36 to 40 cents average. That's the highest in the nation. So we see as the next level of technology is to incentivize storing that energy and having batteries. I particularly feel very close to this system in that for the last 8 years, my office has said solar on every roof. Now with 421, which incentivizes batteries, I'm going to say solar on every roof, batteries under every house. This is a good bill. It's needed now, and because the feds are going to take off all the tax credits of 30% by the end of 2016, it's imperative that this bill be put in. From there, I want to introduce Representative Feki Puoha, who's going to talk about another type of job creation, which is equally creative. Feki?
Aloha. Representative Feki Puoha. I'm here to talk about House Bill 415 regarding an inter-island ferry system. And as a caucus, we're the only group so far this session that's introduced legislation regarding an inter-island ferry system. Since 2010 and 2011, when we had the super ferry system, highly controversial, a lot of roadblocks in that way. And so we're proposing this to remove those roadblocks by having the Department of Land and Natural Resources together with the Department of Transportation to do an environmental impact statement and to also work on the details in terms of setting up an effective inter-island ferry system. Back in October of last year, Hawaii News Now did a survey, and according to their poll, 87% of voters thought that Hawaii needed an inter-island ferry system. And so that's what we're trying to do. It not only creates jobs, it also helps those who prefer not to fly in airplanes for medical treatment, those who also prefer to engage in inter-island commerce. And so these kinds of things are very important to us as a Republican caucus, and we hope that we can garner some great support in this effort. And so that's my little spiel. I'd like to introduce Rep. Matsumoto.
I'm here to discuss another bill that deals with job creation, and that's HB 1209. And what's so important is it's transforming the urban core to build along the rail route. And so what it does is it creates EDGE, which is economic development for a growing economy, within the current enterprise zone program. So what it does is incentivizes businesses to come along the rail route in order to build and be there. And so what's so important about that is we've talked a whole lot about affordable housing along the rail route, but we haven't discussed a lot about businesses. And businesses are essential to creating livable economy. And so it's not only important for the families in our communities, but also for my generation who's really looking for jobs and affordable living. And so in addition to job creation, we're talking about lowering the cost of living. And so we have Representative Tupola here to talk about lowering the cost of living.
Just like Rep. Matsumoto addressed, not only can we talk about the need for job creation here in Hawaii, but we also want to propose bills that are going to decrease or make the cost of living more affordable here. And so House Bill 419 is a bill that we're proposing to exempt food and medicine from the general excise tax. Currently, the cost of living in Hawaii is 69.1% above the national average. And we want to help the people of Hawaii to be able to live here in a more affordable society by exempting the food and medicine. And so there are currently 30 states that don't tax for prescription drugs. And we also know that Hawaii's families continue to face the highest cost of healthcare, around 30 states exempt from food and home consumption or tax it at a preferential rate. So House Bill 491 will take care of that. And Cynthia Thielen, our representative, will also talk about the lowering the cost of living.
Hawaii has the goal of being the greenest state in the nation. Things are being held up with the Public Utilities Commission, and that's the big problem. We're calling House Bill 410 calls for a management and financial audit of the Public Utilities Commission to find out why so many of these dockets are being held up. We've set forth the renewable energy goals. The PUC is having difficulty in implementing those goals. Why? And the good news is House Bill 410 will be heard this Wednesday.
So Representative Bob McDermott is not able to be here today. He was going to talk a little bit about how we're trying to give government back to the people. And that includes a number of initiatives that Republicans have talked about in the past. So things like recall, referendum, those are all going to be included in our package again this year. Also included are going to be things to help limit the amount of money the legislature can spend. For example, we're going to add fiscal notes to every bill. That is our goal. We've talked about it a couple times before, but it's another way that we can try to make sure that this body doesn't get out of control using taxpayers' money. And then one more check that we want to add in there is that we are proposing a bill that would require 2/3 of a majority in the House to pass any tax increase. So particularly with the rail tax increase being discussed, I think that's probably top of mind for a lot of people. The bottom line is that our caucus is just trying to propose measures that are going to make a tangible difference in the lives of our constituents in real ways that they're going to feel and understand. So with that, that concludes the end of our formal portion.